Hey everyone, BlackCross here, and I figure I'd do like a little video update thing to let you guys know about certain things that are going on and stuff like that. There's not a lot, although it feels like there's a lot that I want to talk about. But I guess I need to go into detail. First and foremost, I want to go ahead and kind of throw in the change that's going to happen in terms of streaming. It's not really going to be a big change. If nothing else, it's kind of like what I've been doing anyway to begin with, but I'll go into detail a little bit more. So let me go ahead and explain right now. The schedule that I've got going on right now is currently the schedule that I am going to do. Monday through Saturday I will be streaming, with Saturday being the one day that I will not be streaming. But there are certain situations in which where there may be a day or two of the week that I probably won't be streaming as a normal stream schedule normally would be. And I say 1 to 2 because I know for a fact that there might be an extra day that I won't be streaming. But that is hard to say as to the likelihood of, depending on how I feel, maybe I'll stream or maybe I won't be. So allow me to go ahead and give you a little bit detail as to what's going on in that field. So, as you guys know, I work at Walmart. No need to go any more details or anything like that. But to kind of give you what's happened, me and Delmar was on the same schedule. You know, we were off 2 days on the same days that we were off, you know, and everything like that. And we worked the same days that we normally would. Well, needless to say, the managers wanted to do a quick change. And by a quick change, I mean a slight day change. And from where we were both off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Delmar is only off Wednesdays and Thursday, and I am still on my off Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So in other words, we only get to hang out with each other on a Wednesday. And so to kind of give you a brief description, basically, for those of you who are subscribed to Delmar channel, you probably already knew this. Delmar tends to have, and I don't want to flat out and say that it's a form of depression. It's hard to explain it really in Delmar's case. He has very small self-esteem issues, which I guess is a form of depression, I suppose you could say. And I'm not an expert of this. I am not an expert when it comes to like depression issues, much less when it comes to like, you know, how to overcome it and anything like that. Really, in all honesty, my thing is that if my mindset goes teeter-totter in either direction, I more or less get angry. That's what happens to me. If I get triggered, it's mostly towards anger. With Delmar, if his gets triggered, it's more towards depression. And it's kind of weird, you know, we're both brothers, and yet we have different personalities that sets us apart. And it's kind of hard to believe. I was able to, I'm sure you guys noticed, but for the last like year or two, I've actually calmed down in terms of my anger. I've actually gotten control of it. And I want to say that it's probably because I finally made a realization of like what's causing the anger. And then also trying to realize, okay, I don't like being angry. So let's fix that. And so far it's been really good. But Delmar's case is a little bit different. His case is very, very sensitive. In one perspective, he always has his life figured out at one point. But every once in a while, it will fall backwards in one perspective or another. And this is not his fault, you know. Sometimes it happens. When things get a little bit rough, sometimes you just gotta reroute it again in order to figure out, okay, how can I overcome this obstacle? Or how am I going to get through this one? And everything like that. And Delmar is, I mean, the good thing is that Delmar is figuring out certain things as well. It's just taken him a little bit more effort to overcome them compared to me, where sometimes I do have to try to deal with it, and other times it's like it gets so aggravating that it does tick me off. With Delmar, it just becomes depression. And me and Delmar, we try to work back and forth trying to fix this. We're trying to fix each other with our problems and trying to overcome them with better stuff. Stuff that me and Delmar both like to do, you know. Recently, we've actually been rewatching The Muppet Show, which we've been having the time of our life watching it again. And the biggest thing that I wanted to go ahead and just tell you right now is that I want to hang out more with my younger brother, Delmar. I don't think... I'm going to tell you right now, in some perspective, I think it sounds weird, me saying that, considering we both live in the same apartment. But most brothers, most siblings for that matter, are mostly like distant to some degree. Like, they're not like, you know, best friends or high fives and stuff like that. No, they're more of okay, you're my brother and everything like that. You know, if you need me for anything, give me a holler and I'll give you a hand type thing. That's more or less the generic sibling type thing. With me and Delmar, we have a closer relationship to a point to where we're basically more friends than anything. The way to summarize it. You know, if there is a situation in which where Delmar needs something, or he feels like he has to ask me something, I'll give him my opinions on it. And same thing, vice versa. And so, at the end of the day, both me and Delmar help each other out in order to figure out, okay, well, how do I do this? Or where do I need to go about this? And where do I need to do in order to do this and everything like that? You know? We both help each other out. And it's not just through, like, our normal lives. It's also through movie-making decisions, video-making decisions, and other stuff of that nature. And so, we always help each other with that. But lately, Delmar thought that we weren't hanging out enough. And, I don't know what brings up this thing. You know, I brought it up with some of my friends and everything like that. And it could be a mixture of multitudes of things. It could be because of mental problems. It could be a form of depression. It could be a demon that is trying to conquer Delmar as we speak. It could be a number of things. And I'm doing everything I can in order to keep himself balanced. It doesn't happen a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't happen a lot. But this past week, Delmar has been having quite the struggle of figuring out how am I going to hang out more with my older brother. And he finally made a realization that we're not going to be able to do this all the time, but at least so long as we have at least one day off per week, it's not a bad loss. And really it's not. I think what it is that bothers Delmar is that, you know, the first day being off, you know, and this is a habit because of obviously working third shift. On your first day off, after a full week, all you want to do is sleep. Admittedly, that's not a healthy appetite. In fact, I think working third shift is unhealthy overall. But, at the end of the day, that's just how it is, you know? In fact, me and Delmar both agree that we probably would not be able to work day shift because of how people act. Sad truth, but it is. And that's just how it is. And as much as me and Delmar try, you know, we try to get the schedule fixed up to where we can do stuff, but every once in a while we tend to fall short. And I try to always make the effort of like, well, if we can at least do one small thing, you know, it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be momentous, we just gotta do something, you know? And lately it's just been me and Delmar watching videos and stuff. And I think that's enough to say that that helps us in the long run, you know? And I'm not sure how to kind of describe what I'm trying to say in terms of Delmar and everything like that. But I hope the day will come whenever Daniel finally gets a hold, finally grabs on to the thing that bothers him the most. The very thing that he has always tried to push away and stuff. He actually grabs onto it. I've noticed he always pushes it away. He never really braces it. He always just pushes it away. He pushes it away and everything like that. When in reality, it just keeps coming back at him. And sometimes it can come back at him at a full, stronger force. The thing that he doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to face it, I don't think. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, you know. Sometimes people will do this, you know. I've done it whenever I was younger and stuff. I would always push it away. I never wanted to face it. I never wanted to deal with it. But by facing the very thing that is causing problems to begin with, if you face it head on and trying to grasp the situation, literally grabbing it and getting control of your very emotions, you really have more power than you think. And Delmar forgets that. He forgets that he can do that. it's not a matter of like, it's so powerful you can't control it. No, you actually do have some control over it. You just have to have the willpower to do it. And that's the key term, is willpower. Depending on how your willpower is, depends on how powerful you can overcome it. And Delmar, in my personal opinion, has great willpower. He has great willpower because he's dedicated to making videos. Okay, that takes a lot of willpower just to make videos. I try to make videos, but sometimes I get so wore out, I don't have the strength to make the video per se, much less the concentration to do it. Delmar, he's full on dedicated to making videos, and that's a good thing. It tells me that he has the ability to comprehend what to do in terms of situations and stuff. He has the ability to make the videos. He has the ability to make a script. I couldn't do that. Delmar is smarter than he looks. He's more talented than he thinks. But there are times that he puts himself down, and that's the part that hurts him. And so I try to help him out as best as I can in order to build him back up, to build his strength up to where he can overcome that. And hopefully one day that will no longer be a problem. That will no longer be a demon that Delmar has to face over and over again. If it does show up, he'll just stare at it and tell him to sit the F down, and he'll do it. The demon will finally sit down. It's one of those things where it's like, you can't kill your demons, but you can demand them to step aside. You can demand them your loyalty and stuff like that. There is that thing. What I'm trying to say is that you have to talk to yourself as if you are the demon, and that you're trying to tell yourself to get out of the way. That's basically the best way I can explain it. It's hard to explain it in a more actual physical term, because really there is no cure for depression. There is no cure for mental health. There is no cure for any form of problems that may occur. All that's left, all that you can really do is hope that your willpower is strong enough and overcome it. And really, in all honesty, I think with Delmar's case, he has good friends, These last 2-3 years that I've worked there have made me realize that he has really good friends. And it took me a while to get adjusted, but after a while it's like, yeah, Delmar has way more friends than he thinks he does. Delmar keeps thinking that, oh, well, they're doing this because they don't like me and stuff like that. And it's like, no, Delmar, why would they do that? First and foremost, physical life, things happen, They have to do stuff and they have to achieve their goals and everything like that. They can't just stay at one place all the time. If they feel like they need to move on, they have to move on. That's just how life works. And there's no real way to kind of get that fix. I even tell Delmar all the time, I want to hang out with TJ every day, if I'm able to. But that's not always the case, There's the fact that I have my job to do, and unfortunately, sometimes he has his job, and we're not able to match up the day that we're both off to where we can do that. And the sad thing is that much like how I said in third shift, all I want to do is sleep. And that's not a healthy appetite. It really isn't. So I try to do as best as I can in order to do my end after I get off of work and stuff, in order to not only keep my body healed up, but also to keep myself in good physical condition. Which that is one of the goals that I need to do in 2019. I'm actually trying to work it right now, so that way I can actually do it. Try to get myself in good physical condition. It's just harder to do it. 285 pounds tells you, yeah, you kind of need to get in shape. And keep in mind, I've never been overly big. I've been big, but I've never been overly big. So I need to try to get a control of that in some form of way. But, that's for like a later video probably. It's probably something that I'll talk about as it gets closer to like New Year's or something. Because there's a lot of stuff that I want to do differently. There's a lot of stuff that I want to kind of set to make a point of something. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to say is that Wednesdays I might not be streaming as much. There'll be a case of where I might be able to stream at least one Wednesday per month probably, or something like that. But it's not going to be an every Wednesday type stream. I say Wednesday because Wednesday is actually the day that me and Delmar usually hang out with our folks later on that evening. So there may be a case of where we'll be sleeping during the day. We'll get up right around 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. We go out and we hang out with our folks and everything like that, and we don't get home until probably like 7 or 8 p.m. that night. And then depending on how tired we are, we usually doze off for at least an extra hour or two. And then we do whatever. That's what's been like for like the past couple of last couple of Wednesdays. And again, it's not exactly a good habit to always sleep all the time, but at the same time, you know, when you're wore out, you have to do what your body says. That's the ultimate thing. You have to do what your body says. If you can't do it, don't push yourself. You know, do what you can do. I mean, I'm 29, fixing to go 30 in April, so I know for a fact that I'm feeling the age itself, but it's too early to feel this type of stuff. To me, I shouldn't have to feel this stuff until I'm literally like 35 probably. 35 would be the state of where you start to feel your body failing at times. I shouldn't start to feel this failing issue at an early age. And I know a lot of people say like 20 is like the new 30 or something like that, but in reality 20 is relatively young. 20s in general is relatively young. 30 is relatively young. It's not as young, but it's young enough. So that's one of the goals that I'm wanting to do. And I do apologize if I go back and forth between subjects, but basically Wednesday stream might not always happen, but I am going to make a constant effort. For starters, Tuesday, I don't know how well this is going to work, but for those of you watching on Twitch and everything like that, I hope you'll stick with me on this one. But on Tuesdays, I'm wanting to do a longer stream. Now, I can't say 100% if I'm going to be able to do this, but if I can, I want to. That is my main goal. If I can, I want to. And I'll see what I can do. It probably won't start until like literally the December Tuesday. The first week of December, rather. But we will see when we'll do it. If there's a night that I feel like I can go for an extra 2 to 3 hours, then yes, we will continue. But what I will do is that I will do my first set of, I guess depending on how you look at it, my first 2-hour stream of the playthrough. Then I'll take myself like a 30-minute break, or maybe an hour break, depending. And at this point, I do need to kind of fix myself a little background screensaver type thing on Twitch, saying that I'll be back within the next hour or something like that, so that way you guys will know when I'll come back. And then when I come back, we will continue the stream for another, say, 2 hours, maybe 3, depending on how good I feel, and then we'll do that. To me, that's something that I feel like I can do, and that I want to do. And then hopefully I can get better at it. Because there was this one thing that I saw, and it kind of blew my mind, but at the same time it made me wonder, well, no offense, you have stuff that can happen at any time, you know. And so to hear this phrase, it was enough for me to say, yeah, why shouldn't I do this? And that is to stream anytime I want, whenever I want. That would be nice. But there's a reason why I do the schedule thing. It's because, number one, I work third shift, so obviously I'm going to be sleeping during the day, and then I work during the late night. So I have to have a time period that I can do streaming. So in other words, like say, for example, like I was saying, Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I can only do the 6:30 to 8 o'clock, sometimes 8:30, depending. But on Tuesday, because that is my day off, I can actually do a longer stream, you know. And in reality, that makes sense. You know, you can, if you feel like you can, then go ahead and do it, you know. And to me, I feel like I can do that much. And maybe that might be the best way for me to do it. Maybe. Who's to say, really? But I've had that thought in my head. Also, too, technically there's a lot of news going around. There's a lot. Some of it not really pretty. A lot of it is actually relatively ugly. I want to say ugly. I think ugly is a good term to say it. And there's a reason why I called my series Just a Thought. It is literally just a thought. It is literally just something that I came up from the top of my head. It was something that I thought looked interesting. It was something that kind of piqued my interest. It was something that my gamer instinct was like, I want to talk about this. And even if I have no major knowledge of the situation, I admit that I know absolutely nothing about the gaming industry. I admit that I don't know how things are going to go. It may look like a complete pattern, and then the next thing you know, it topples over and something completely different is going to happen. What was the whole Blizzard situation that they decided to take all their IPs and put them into mobile phone games? What was the fact that Bethesda created Fallout 76 and it's basically Fallout 4 just minus the story and NPCs? Oh, and it's also multiplayer. There's a lot of decisions that companies are making, and a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense considering the long history that some of these companies have had for years. So why make this sudden change and turn? And I think what it is that they're not making their revenue. And the problem is that you've got these major companies like Square Enix, Bethesda, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony. All these big companies, guess what they all have in common? Investors. And that's the big problem. Not us as gamers being investors. That's not what they're looking at. They're looking at the investors that are literally pouring money into the companies. And the companies have to build up their revenue as well as the investors' revenue to where they can pay them back. And that way they can keep reinvesting money into the company itself. Without that revenue, they could easily fall. And they're trying to figure out ways in order to meet that ends. And if it means pushing out a crap game just because it has a popular title just so it would sell, or to create a mobile phone game or some kind of multiplayer game that has cheap gimmicks like microtransactions or loot crates and loot boxes and stuff like that, if it's going to make money, they will go to that reach. And it sucks that we've reached that realm of where we end up having that. There's no way to fix it. And so, as gamers, we're left there just to watch and see it all crumble. But thankfully, there are a few companies out there that do stick to their guns, that do make good quality games, that do make good quality products and stuff. And there is some good stuff that comes out of games. They're not all perfect, they're not all absolute 10 out of 10 games, but there are games that have that tweak that's like enough to say they did put love and attention with it. Versus companies that are like pushing it just for the sake of pushing it just to sell. You know? I completely went off the rails on that one. I don't know, I had a lot of stuff on my mind really, and I hadn't really done a Just a Thought video in a while. And I really wanted to make a Just a Thought, but then I was like, I want to do a vlog video, mostly to talk about Twitch and everything else in general. Mostly stuff that just kind of scratched my mind. I don't know. My mind's kind of scattered out at the moment right now. It's mostly trying to kind of cope with, like, Delmar and everything like that, trying to keep him in a good, balanced way. I'm trying to help him as best I can, while at the same time keep myself in a balanced way, trying to get myself in a much healthier appetite. You know, prepare to 2019, because 2019 is going to be an amazing year for everyone, regardless of who you are. It's going to be amazing. I have no doubt about it in my mind. But I also want it to be the year where change is going to help improve, and I want the changes to improve me. You know, because I mean, I've had this heavy gut, and it's about time to cut it entirely, if I'm able to. And so I'm trying to like figure out ways to get myself in a better mood, to keep myself motivated to where I can do stuff. And hopefully, depending on how I feel, depends on if there's going to be better content for YouTube in general and stuff. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe things will get better, and maybe I'll see a better me than I've ever wanted to be. But anyway, though, guys, if you've oh my gosh, I am so badly tongue twist. I don't know why. That is so bad. Okay, let's try that again. So, if you enjoy my vlog series so far, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy the Just a Thought videos, let me know. If you enjoy the Let's Plays, let me know. I'm generally interested to know what you like most about my channel. I know I haven't done an unboxing in a while, and I haven't done a BlackCross Colette series, but that's only because it's that time of the year, which is Christmas, and I can't do a lot of collecting because all my friends tell me, don't get that. And I'm like, you got it, boss! But anyway though, guys, until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later.